The midday sun beats down on the Oregon Prep Tournament grounds, turning the arena into a sea of gold and white. Sunlight flashes across polished target stands, gleams off carefully maintained saddles, and sparkles on the banners of every kingdom fluttering from the grandstands. The air buzzes with excitement as students, teachers, royal families, and visitors fill the stands, all eager to watch Oregon's annual Mounted Archery Championship. One of the biggest sport events of the year. You stand near the staging area, trying to ignore the knot twisting in your stomach. Your fingers trace the smooth wood of your recurve bow while the leather bracer on your forearm creaks softly as you adjust it for what feels like the 100th time. Every detail of your equipment has been checked and rechecked. The arrows in your quiver are perfectly fletched. Your bowstring is taut. Your riding gloves fit snugly against your palms. Yet none of that stops your nerves. Beside you stands your horse, a magnificent dark bay mare named Astra. Unlike Maximus, who is broad, powerful, and built like a charging battering ram, Astra is sleek and elegant. Her coat shines like polished mahogany beneath the sunlight, and a narrow white star marks the center of her forehead. Her ears flick attentively as she senses your anxiety. She moves her head over and nudges your shoulder. You can't help smiling. I know, you murmur, scratching her neck. We've got this. Astra huffs softly as if agreeing. Nervous, love? The familiar voice cuts through the noise of the crowd instantly. You turn and immediately feel your heartbeat skip. Harry Hook lounges against the wooden railing separating the competitors from the spectators. Somehow he manages to look completely relaxed despite standing in the middle of one of Oregon's most prestigious sporting events. His long dark coat hangs open despite the heat. His boots are propped casually against the rail. The silver edge of his hook gleams in the sunlight. And, of course, he's smirking. Not just a small smirk, either. It's that infuriatingly confident grin that immediately tells you he's been watching you long enough to notice every nervous habit you've developed over the past 20 minutes. Your fingers tap against your bow. His grin widens. You adjust your glove. It widens even more. You glance away from the arena. Now he's outright amused. Oh, don't start, you grumble as you turn to him. Harry laughs softly. I haven't said a word yet, love. You don't have to, you respond. You point accusingly at his face. That look. What look? He asks, smirking smugly. The audacity. The one that says you're enjoying this, you clarify. I am enjoying this, he grins. You groan. Harry places a hand dramatically over his heart. I'm wounded. No, you're entertained, you argue. Also true, he smiles. You shake your head, trying and failing not to smile. Harry pushes away from the railing slightly, folding his arms across his chest. The sunlight catches the silver edge of his hook as his blue eyes sweep over you. Not critically. Never critically. Just observantly. The way he always looks at you. As though you're the most interesting thing in the world. You've checked your bow 6 times. You blink. No, I haven't. 7. Harry. 8. You're making that up. But only because I lost count after 7. You let out an exasperated laugh and Astra nudges your shoulder again. See? Harry says, pointing at her. Even Astra thinks you're being ridiculous. The mare huffs. Traitor. You're supposed to be on my side, you tell her. Harry gasps dramatically. After all this time, she's finally chosen the superior partner. The superior partner, you ask. He nods. You raise an eyebrow. The pirate. The handsome pirate. Debatable. Harry places a hand over his chest again. You wound me a second time. You roll your eyes. You'll survive. Probably. A comfortable silence settles between you for a moment as the sounds of the tournament drift around you. The distant cheering. The announcer calling scores. The thunder of hooves from another competitor finishing their run. You watch a gust of wind ripple through the flags surrounding the arena. Immediately your stomach tightens again. Harry notices. Of course he notices. His teasing expression softens. You've gone quiet. You sigh. The wind. Harry follows your gaze toward the fluttering banners. The third target? You nod. The third target. The smile disappears from his face completely now. Not because he's worried, but because he's listening. The angle changes every few minutes, you explain. If the wind catches the arrow wrong, it'll drift just enough to miss the center. Harry studies you for a moment. Then he steps closer. So compensate. You snort. Wow. What? He asks. Months of training and all I needed was compensate. Harry grins. Glad I could help. You shake your head. You're impossible. And yet? And yet, you ask. He takes another step forward. And yet you keep choosing me. Heat immediately creeps into your cheeks, which makes Harry's grin become positively unbearable. There it is. What? You ask. That look. You narrow your eyes. What look? The one where you're trying not to smile. I'm not smiling, you deny. You absolutely are smiling. You look away. Which only makes him laugh harder. You're the worst. His eyes soften. But I'm your worst. And despite your nerves, despite the competition, despite the hundreds of people surrounding you, you laugh. Because somehow Harry always knows exactly how to make the fear seem smaller. Only then do you finally shake your head and smile at him. You always know exactly when I'm panicking. Harry says. It's one of my many talents. You roll your eyes again just as he pushes off the railing and vaults over it with effortless grace. Several officials immediately look horrified, but Harry ignores them entirely. As usual. You look ready to fight a dragon, he says as he walks up to you, stopping to where he's only a few feet away from you. That's because this feels worse, you reply. Harry laughs. Worse than a dragon? The third target is elevated and angled downhill, you explain. The wind keeps changing direction. If Astra takes that turn too wide, I'll lose momentum before the fourth shot. Harry listens carefully, unlike most people who simply tell you not to worry. When you finish rambling, he steps closer to you. Very close. His gloved hand gently brushes a loose strand of hair away from your face. Finished? Maybe. Good. His blue eyes meet yours. You've spent months training for this. You open your mouth. Harry immediately points his hook at you. No arguing. You laugh despite yourself. You've practiced every morning before class. Another point. You've trained in the rain. Another point. The snow. Another. The dark. Another. Against moving targets. Another. Against impossible targets. Another. Against Maximus. You snort. That's practically a combat exercise. Exactly. Harry grins. If you can shoot while Maximus is trying to outsmart you, then a few wooden targets should be easy. The tension in your chest begins to loosen. Harry reaches up and gently cups your cheek. His voice softens. You're the daughter of Rapunzel and Eugene Fitzherbertl. Warmth spreads through your chest. You inherited your mother's determination. His thumb brushes your cheek. And your father's inability to quit. Hey. What? He asks. Am I wrong? No. Exactly. You laugh again. Harry leans closer. Those targets don't stand a chance. The confidence in his voice makes it impossible not to believe him. I have faith in your aim. His grin widens. And I will very much enjoy watching you win. Before you can respond, he leans down and kisses you. It's quick. Just enough to leave your heart racing. Just enough to make every nervous thought disappear. When he pulls back, his smile is softer than before. Go show them how a Fitzherbertl does it. The loudspeaker suddenly crackles to life. Competitor number 12, please report to the starting gate. Your stomach flips. This is it. You take a deep breath. Then another. Astra shifts beside you eagerly. Ready. Waiting. You swing smoothly into the saddle. The familiar motion instantly settles your nerves. This is where you belong. The bow feels natural in your hand. The reins rest comfortably in your fingers. The world narrows to the track ahead. As Astra carries you toward the start line, you glance back one final time. Harry stands leaning against the railing once more. This time he removes his tricorn hat and tips it toward you. A confident wink follows. You can't stop smiling. For a moment, the nerves that have been twisting in your stomach all morning seem manageable. Harry's wink lingers in your mind as Astra carries you toward the starting area. The mare's ears are pricked forward, alert and eager, her muscles bunching beneath you with barely contained energy. You lean down and stroke her neck. Just one more run, girl. Astra flicks an ear back toward you and gives a soft nicker. The competitors who have already finished stand near the arena fence, talking quietly among themselves while officials prepare the next rider. Some offer encouraging smiles as you pass. Others look far less friendly. One particular rider is waiting near the entrance to the start chute. You immediately recognize her. Lady Cassandra of Westminster. Your biggest rival. And the only competitor who came remotely close to matching your scores all season. Her silver-gray mare stands beside her, immaculately groomed and draped in expensive tack. Cassandra herself looks as flawless as ever, her dark riding jacket perfectly tailored and not a single strand of hair out of place. When she sees you approaching, her lips curl into a smile. Unfortunately, it isn't a friendly one. Fitzherbertl. You suppress a sigh. Westminster. Astra immediately pins her ears. Apparently your horse isn't Cassandra's biggest fan either. The feeling appears mutual. Cassandra glances briefly at Astra before looking back at you. I heard the wind picked up. You stare at her. Really? She nods. Terrible luck. The false sympathy practically drips from every word. You almost laugh. Almost. Funny, you reply. You don't seem very upset about it. Cassandra smiles. I wouldn't say upset. Before you can respond, her eyes flick toward the targets down the course. Particularly the third one. The difficult one. The one everyone has been talking about all day. You know, she says casually, 3 riders have already missed that elevated shot. You remain silent. One completely missed the target. Still silent. Another nearly lost their balance on the turn. She folds her arms. Pressure does strange things to people. You know exactly what she's trying to do. Get inside your head. Make you second-guess yourself. Make you focus on the possibility of failure instead of the confidence you've spent months building. Unfortunately for her, you've spent enough time around your dad and Harry to recognize when someone is trying to play mind games. And you've learned from the best. You smile sweetly. Thanks for the warning. Cassandra blinks. The response clearly isn't what she expected. You're welcome. You tilt your head. Though if you're trying to make me nervous, you're a little late. Oh. You nod toward the spectator stands. My boyfriend already handled that this morning. A startled laugh escapes one of the nearby competitors. Cassandra's expression tightens. Just slightly. Victory. You continue before she can recover. Besides, if you're spending this much time worrying about my run, you smile. Maybe you should be worried about your own score. Several riders nearby suddenly become very interested in the conversation. Cassandra's eyes narrow. For a second, neither of you says anything. Then she laughs. A genuine laugh. Not a particularly warm one, but genuine. Still confident, I see. You shrug. Still trying to win, I see. Obviously. Good. Cassandra studies you for a moment before extending a gloved hand up to you. The gesture surprises you. You look down at it, then back at her. Her expression is serious now. No teasing. No games. Just respect. You'll give them a good show, Fitzherbertl. The words catch you off guard. Slowly, you reach out and shake her hand. So will you. For a moment, the rivalry fades. Not completely. Never completely. But enough. Then an official calls from the starting gate. Competitor 12. You release Cassandra's hand. She steps aside. Try not to miss. You grin. Try not to cry when I don't. A few nearby riders snort with laughter. Cassandra rolls her eyes. Go. You guide Astra forward. She steps into position beneath the starting banner. Your heart immediately starts hammering again. The targets stretch out before you. The crowd becomes a blur. The noise fades. Everything narrows. Focus. Breath. Horse. Bow. Target. You adjust your grip on the reins. Astra stamps once against the dirt. Ready. Waiting. Behind you, somewhere in the stands, you can hear Harry shouting something that sounds suspiciously like, "Show off." You can't help laughing. The tension melts away completely. You sit taller in the saddle. Confidence settles into place. You're ready. The starter raises the flag. The arena falls silent. Hundreds of eyes watch. For a moment, the entire world seems to hold its breath. The wind rustles the banners overhead. Astra shifts beneath you, muscles taut with anticipation. Your fingers tighten slightly around your bow. The starting line stretches before you. The targets wait in the distance. Your heart pounds so hard you're certain everyone can hear it. Thump. 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 Then, come on, Fitzherbertl. The shout rings across the arena. You immediately recognize the voice. Harry. You glance toward the spectator section. Sure enough, Harry is standing instead of sitting, one boot planted on the front railing and absolutely ignoring every tournament official glaring at him. One hand cups around his mouth. The other waves his tricorn hat wildly in the air. Show them how it's done, love. Several people around him laugh. A few officials look scandalized. Harry doesn't care. Not even a little. Your lips twitch. Then another voice joins his. Yeah. You spot Gil standing beside Harry, enthusiastically pumping both fists into the air. You got this. Y/N. Try not to break all the targets. Jay shouts. Carlos leans forward in his seat. Just break most of them. A burst of laughter spreads through the VK section. Even Mal is smiling. She shakes her head as if the boys are impossible before standing up herself. You've got this, she calls. Evie cups her hands around her mouth. We believe in you. The encouragement sends warmth flooding through your chest. Then another familiar voice rises above the crowd. Good luck. You turn toward the royal section. Ben is standing near the front row, smiling brightly. Unlike everyone else, he's attempting to behave with proper royal dignity. Attempting. Unfortunately, his excitement is obvious. We're all rooting for you, he continues as he gives you a thumbs up. The gesture is so genuinely supportive that you can't help smiling. Then aloud, familiar whinny echoes across the arena. You don't even need to look. Maximus, you smile. The massive white stallion is standing beside your parents near the front row. Apparently someone thought bringing him to watch the competition was a good idea. They were wrong. Because Maximus is currently halfway over the barrier. Again. Several guards are trying to keep him contained. Again. The stallion completely ignores them. Instead, he lets out another powerful whinny. Louder this time. As if personally announcing your arrival to the entire kingdom. You hear laughter ripple through the audience. Your father doubles over laughing. That's right, Max. Eugene stands and throws both arms into the air. That's my daughter. You immediately bury your face in one hand. Oh no. Even from across the arena, you can hear him. Unfortunately. Rapunzel laughs beside him. Her eyes are shining with pride. You can do this, she calls. We believe in you. Pascal stands on her shoulder waving both tiny arms frantically. Maximus whinnies again. Even louder. The stallion paws at the ground and tosses his mane dramatically, as though he is the one about to compete. Your father points toward the track. Go win this thing. No pressure. Harry shouts from his spot behind you again. That's literally pressure, you yell back. The crowd bursts into laughter. Harry grins. Fair point. The laughter eases the last of your nerves. The tension leaves your shoulders. The fear disappears. And suddenly, instead of feeling overwhelmed by the hundreds of eyes watching you, you feel supported by every familiar face in the stands. Your parents. Pascal. Maximus. Ben. The VKs. And Harry. Especially Harry. You glance toward him one last time. He catches your eye immediately. The grin fades from his face for just a second. His expression softens. Then he taps 2 fingers against the brim of his hat. A silent reminder. You've got this. Your confidence settles into place. You straighten in the saddle. Astra senses the change instantly. Her ears prick forward. Ready. Focused. Waiting. You take one final breath. Let's win this thing, you whisper, your eyes moving to the starter just as he lowers the flag. The whistle shrieks. Astra launches forward, exploding into motion with incredible speed. The ground thunders beneath her hooves. Wind whips through your hair. The cheers of the crowd fade into the background. Everything becomes instinct. Movement. Focus. Trust. The first target appears. You rise slightly in the stirrups. Draw. Aim. Release. Thwack. Dead center. The crowd erupts, but you barely hear them. The second target approaches. Astra accelerates through the curve. You trust her completely. Another arrow. Another release. Thwack. Bullseye. The applause grows louder. Now comes the difficult one. The third target. The one that has worried you all morning. The wind shifts. Just like you feared. For a split second, your instincts scream at you to hesitate. Instead, you remember every hour of practice. Every lesson. Every mistake. Every success. You adjust. Draw. Release. The arrow slices through the air. For one agonizing second, time seems to stop. Then thwack. Direct center. The entire stadium explodes. Even from the track, you hear the roar. A grin spreads across your face. The hardest shot is behind you. Astra surges forward as if she knows. Together, you fly through the remainder of the course. Fourth target. Bullseye. Fifth target. Bullseye. Final target. Bullseye. You cross the finish line at full speed before slowly guiding Astra down to a triumphant trot. Your heart hammers. Your lungs burn. The crowd is standing. Actually standing. Cheering. Shouting. Applauding. You look toward the giant scoreboard. The numbers update. A moment later, perfect score, first place, Y/N, Fitzherbertl. For a second you simply stare at the scoreboard, unable to believe it. Then realization hits. You won. You actually won. The arena erupts even louder. Astra tosses her head proudly. You laugh breathlessly and throw your arms around her neck. We did it. The mare nickers happily. A few moments later, after dismounting from Astra, you barely have time to process what happened. The crowd is still roaring. Your name is still flashing across the scoreboard. You won. You actually won. A laugh escapes you as the reality finally begins to sink in. Then, look out. The familiar shout barely registers before a dark blur comes barreling through the arena gate. Your eyes widen. Harry. You don't even finish the sentence. Harry reaches you at full speed. 1 second you're standing beside Astra. The next, his arms are around your waist. You let out a startled laugh as he lifts you completely off the ground. Harry. Aye, that's me. He grins as he twirls you around. Once. Twice. The world becomes a dizzy blur of sunlight and cheering spectators. Harry, you laugh. What? Put me down. No. You can't stop laughing. Why not? Because you won. As if that's a reason. It's an excellent reason. He spins you one final time before finally setting you down. Or at least attempting to. The moment your boots touch the ground, his hands remain firmly on your waist. Neither of you says anything for a second. The noise of the crowd seems distant. His blue eyes are shining. Not with mischief. Not with teasing. Just pride. Pure, overwhelming pride. There she is. Your smile softens. What? The champion. Heat immediately rushes to your cheeks. Harry grins. You were incredible. So were you. His eyebrow rises. I wasn't the one shooting arrows, love. No, but I definitely heard you shouting from halfway across the arena. You laugh. Harry's gaze drifts briefly toward the scoreboard before returning to you. Told you those targets didn't stand a chance. You shake your head. You were right. I know. You'll never let me forget that, will you? Not a chance. Before you can respond, Harry gently cups your face. The teasing disappears completely. For a moment, all you see is him. The pirate who encouraged you through months of training. The pirate who believed you would win before you believed it yourself. The pirate who looked more nervous than you did when your name was called to the starting line. A smile tugs at your lips. You look ridiculously proud of yourself. Harry's grin widens. Love, I'm ridiculously proud of you. Your heart melts. Then he leans down and kisses you. The cheers from the crowd somehow become even louder. Somewhere in the stands, you hear Gil whooping. Carlos starts yelling something unintelligible. Jay shouts, about time. Neither of you pays attention. When Harry finally pulls back, he's still smiling. There she is. You roll your eyes fondly. You're impossible. And dramatic. Obviously. And annoying. Occasionally. Constantly. Harry laughs. Then a familiar whinny suddenly cuts through the noise. A very loud whinny. A very offended whinny. You immediately know who it is. Oh no. Harry follows your gaze just in time to see a massive white stallion charging toward the two of you. Maximus. Apparently tired of waiting his turn. The legendary stallion gallops across the arena with surprising speed for a horse his size. Several guards chase after him. None of them are succeeding. As usual. Maximus skids to a stop directly beside you and immediately wedges his enormous head between you and Harry. Hard. Whoa. Harry stumbles backward. The stallion gives him a look that can only be described as smug. You jealous menace, Harry accuses. Maximus snorts. The answer is clearly yes. You burst out laughing. Max. The stallion immediately turns his attention to you and nudges your shoulder so hard you nearly lose your balance. Okay. You wrap your arms around his neck. There's my favorite troublemaker. Maximus lets out a proud huff. Victory. Attention restored. Only then do your parents finally reach you. Rapunzel hurries across the arena, flowers woven throughout her golden braid, her face glowing with pride. Pascal sits proudly on her shoulder, already changing colors in excitement. Beside her is Eugene, who somehow looks even more emotional than your mother. The second he reaches you, he throws his arms around you. That's my girl. Dad. Before you can stop him, Eugene lifts you completely off the ground. Again. Apparently everyone wants to pick you up today. You were amazing. Dad. Did you see that third shot? You mean the one everyone saw, you ask. It was incredible. Rapunzel laughs before wrapping both of you in a hug. Her eyes shimmer with happy tears. You were wonderful, she says softly. The words hit harder than any trophy ever could. You smile. Thanks, Mom. Pascal immediately leaps from her shoulder onto yours. The little chameleon gives you two enthusiastic thumbs up. You laugh. Thanks, Pascal. He chirps proudly. Maximus whinnies beside him. Apparently, he wants credit too. Honestly, after everything, you can't help thinking he might deserve some. You're right, you tell him, scratching between his eyes. You clearly won the entire tournament. Maximus immediately lifts his head higher. The reaction is so immediate that everyone bursts out laughing. See, Eugene says, pointing dramatically. He's taking full credit. Maximus snorts, having absolutely no shame whatsoever. Harry folds his arms. To be fair, he does act like he personally trained ye. Maximus nods. Actually nods. Rapunzel laughs and shakes her head. He's always been impossible. The stallion nudges her shoulder affectionately. Pascal chirps from where he's perched on your shoulder. Maximus immediately turns and gives the tiny chameleon a look. Pascal chirps again. Maximus huffs. The two begin what appears to be a completely serious argument. You blink. Harry blinks. Eugene blinks. Are they fighting? Harry asks. Definitely, you confirm. They've known each other for years. Exactly. Harry considers this. Fair point. The crowd is still pouring out of the grandstands around you. Students and competitors gather near the fence lines, many of them stopping to congratulate you as they pass. A few younger students are already excitedly reenacting your final run with imaginary bows. One dramatically falls off an invisible horse. Another argues about whether the third shot was harder than the fifth. You smile despite yourself. The entire day still feels unreal. The trophy ceremony. The cheering. The perfect score. The victory. It hasn't fully sunk in yet. A familiar voice interrupts your thoughts. Fitzherbertl. You turn. Cassandra approaches from across the arena, still dressed in her riding uniform. Her silver-gray mare follows, quietly behind her. The crowd parts slightly as she approaches. Your rivalry is famous around Auradon. Everyone notices. Cassandra stops in front of you. For a moment neither of you speaks. Then she extends a hand. You glance down at it. Then back at her. A small smile tugs at her lips. You earned it. The sincerity in her voice catches you off guard. Slowly, you take her hand. Thanks, Cassandra. She nods. That third shot was ridiculous. You laugh. I'll take that as a compliment. You should. Harry immediately steps forward. Pardon me. Cassandra raises an eyebrow as she turns to him. Harry points directly at you. That's my champion you're speaking to. You immediately groan. Harry. What? Cassandra actually laughs. A genuine laugh. You know, she says, looking at you, I used to think you were the most competitive person at Auradon. She glances at Harry. I stand corrected. Thank ye, he smiles. That wasn't a compliment. It still counts. You bury your face in your hands. Rapunzel is trying not to laugh. Eugene is completely failing not to laugh. Even Pascal is making amused chirping noises. Eventually, Cassandra shakes her head and steps back. Enjoy the victory, Fitzherbertl. I will, you nod. You'd better. Then she walks away, disappearing into the crowd. The moment she's gone, Harry wraps an arm around your shoulders. You know what this means? That I won, you ask. He nods. That I get a trophy, you continue. He affirms again. That I don't have to train tomorrow? Harry gasps. The sheer horror on his face makes you laugh. No training. One day. Impossible. Harry. One day becomes 2 days. You roll your eyes. 2 days becomes a week. That's not how that works. A week becomes a month. Harry. A month becomes retirement. You start laughing so hard you nearly double over. Rapunzel wipes tears from her eyes. Eugene then points at Harry. She's right. Thank you, he smiles. No, I'm agreeing that you're dramatic. Harry places a hand over his heart. Wounded. Again, you ask. Repeatedly. Before you can reply, Maximus shoves his nose between you and Harry for the second time, looking deeply offended by the lack of attention. Harry sighs. He's doing this on purpose. Maximus immediately nudges you again. Hard. You know, Eugene says thoughtfully, I think he's jealous. Harry points. Exactly. Rapunzel smiles knowingly. I think he just wants to celebrate too. The stallion lets out a loud, triumphant whinny. Everyone jumps. A flock of birds takes off from a nearby tree. Pascal nearly falls off your shoulder. And somehow, that only makes everyone laugh harder. You look around at the people surrounding you. Your parents. Pascal. Maximus. Harry. Your friends. The crowd is still celebrating nearby. The bright Auradon sun shines overhead while Astra grazes calmly a short distance away, finally getting a well-deserved break after carrying you to victory. For a moment, your gaze drifts back toward the scoreboard. Your name is still there. First place. Champion. A perfect score. Something warm settles in your chest. Not pride. Not exactly. Something deeper. Gratitude. Because standing here, surrounded by the people you love most, you realize the trophy isn't the best part of today. It's this. All of this. The laughter. The hugs. The celebration. The people who believed in you every step of the way. Harry notices you looking around and gently squeezes your shoulder. You all right, love? You glance up at him. Then at your parents. At Pascal. At Maximus. At the friends gathered around you. And you smile. The biggest smile of the entire day. Yeah, you say softly. I really am. Harry smiles as he wraps an around your waist, pressing a kiss to your forehead. You start leaning into him, ready to lean your head on his shoulder, only for Maximus shoving his giant head between the two of you again, looking completely unapologetic. And somehow, that only makes the perfect day even better.